first of all, I don't, if I'm explaining, let's say I'm explaining a subject from scratch, then what I'll do is I'll probably make a slide set. But that slide set, I want to use it just to introduce the concepts by which the system works and then cut them loose. I don't want them just staring at the slide set the whole time. Once they think they've got it, then I take them to the car. And now they have to translate what they saw abstractly on the screen to the car itself. That starts helping. Then I have to basically introduce, depending on what I'm having them do, some sort of, like, for example, service information they're going to use. And it depends. I'll give you an example. So, for example, if you go to my class, the first thing that I do is I have everybody get it. Well, you don't have to get an account anymore. You have everybody get an account to have access to Tesla service information. And I say, this is open, this is free, so you now have this. It's up to you to use it and to study off of it. So I will start with the owner's manual. And that kind of surprises techs because they're like, well, it's the owner's manual. Well, there's actually a lot in the owner's manual that a technician needs to look at. It's the best place to find out how something works, especially if it's an unfamiliar technology. So they see that there is a software version that's mentioned in the manual. And that's surprising to them because that's not usual with cars. It's going to be, every car is going to be like that. So I say, now we're going to go to the car and I'm going to give you a hint as to how to look up the software version on the car itself. So they go through that. It's easy enough that I can just let them fumble with it. They get that, they come back, they compare the two. Hey, the manual is ahead of the car, or the car is ahead of the manual, or they both have the same software. Then now they're curious. Now's the times where I can explain why that is what it is. And they're like, oh, okay. So it's kind of it's a pull. I want it to be a pull system rather than a push system. You remember how email used to not be push, and I mean it used to be you had to basically refresh to get your email. Well, I want it to be where the student is pulling. I'll give you another one. Teslas use, I'm just gonna use Tesla as an example. Teslas have key fobs, they have your phone, and they also have a key card that looks like a credit card. Great. Okay. What I used to do is I used to go through this long diatribe about how the keys work, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And after that, then we went out to the cars. I've ended up, it's so intuitive the way you add or delete keys with the Tesla that I've really shortened up my little lecture, and then I cut them loose. And there's one place where they might stumble, but I'm standing there so they don't stumble too long because then they'll get frustrated. So this is a revelation to them because usually with if you're adding a key on Bryce's car, the car is going to have to be dropped off for the day. I get my scan tool out. It's fairly involved. And the neat thing about doing this at the beginning, this is something kind of adds a little delight to the technician. They're like, oh, I can do this like this. It's all about opening them up more and more and more to be open to the next lesson.